Whereas Iran today has about 200 kilograms of 20% enriched uranium that could readily be enriched towards a nuclear weapon, in 6 months, Iran will have zero. Zero.
How far does the Iran deal really go in delaying the production of weapons-grade material? Welcome to your Monday afternoon news hub. I'm Sarah Murray. A deal to curb Iran's nuclear program may be a major diplomatic milestone, but there are still questions about whether the deal goes far enough to actually delay the production of materials needed for nuclear weapons. Mark Hibbs is a senior associate for the Carnegie Endowment's nuclear policy program. He's joining us now from Berlin. Hi, Mark.
Hi there.
When you look at this 5% target, only allowing uranium to be enriched to 5%, what's the significance of that metric?
Well, it basically means two things. It means that they're not able to enrich to a higher level. That adds to the work they have to do to enrich to weapons grade. And the second thing, of course, is that as part of the deal, the inventory of higher enriched uranium that they produced will be diluted and converted into oxide. So basically, you're subtracting from the inventory of material they've already produced, and you're setting them back by an agreement that says they cannot produce in the meantime to a higher level of enrichment.
Does this actually go far enough to prevent Iran from producing enough material for a nuclear weapon?
Keep in mind that this is an arrangement that's only supposed to last for 6 months. I have the impression that many people who are disappointed by the lack of comprehensive suspension of activities in Iran don't understand that this is a confidence-building process, and it's not intended to seize or freeze all materials in Iran and all activities. If it were to do that, if the intention had been to prevent Iran from doing any of these activities, it's pretty unlikely that Iran would have agreed to that.
So when we talk about the scope of Iran's nuclear capacity, where is the first place that inspectors are going to start to get a good read on the country's nuclear program?
Well, actually, they've been doing this for 10 years. The inspectors have been in the field, and they have a pretty good idea of where most of the activities are located. They will be building on agreements with Iran that they already have in place to inspect facilities that are declared. What this agreement adds to that burden for the inspectors is additional surveillance and verification involving the freezing of activities in locations where they're already inspecting, but also verification activities to look into where they're actually producing centrifuges. That is a new activity, and that will require additional resources.
And there are potentially thousands of centrifuges that they're going to have to dismantle. I mean, how far can you really get on that in 6 months?
Well, this agreement does not call for dismantlement of any centrifuges. The centrifuges will be idled, or the centrifuges will be put to use to enrich uranium to a lower grade. The scope and extent of the enrichment program in Iran, including the number of centrifuges in the country, is a matter which will be discussed between Iran and the powers over the 6-month period to come up with a much longer-term definition of what Iran's nuclear program will look like in the future.
What's your prediction? 6 months from now, have we fundamentally delayed Iran's ability to build a nuclear weapon, or is this just an optics moment?
No, this is a confidence-building process. No one has any illusions that over 6 months you're going to build down Iran's capability to break out and make a nuclear weapon if they were to move forward with their program. What this is intending to do is to get the powers comfortable with cooperation that the Iranians hopefully would provide to the IEA primarily. And also, on the other side, the Iranians would be moving forward in the future to suspend and build down other activities in their program, providing they get something in return, and that includes sanctions.
All right, Mark Hibbs, thanks for being with us.